There have been many people asking about Marissa the past few months, so I thought I would give an update on here and also let others know what is going on and how we found out. On September 18th, the Morse Hospital and the Grundy County Area Vocational Occupation 2 students teamed up and performed EKGs on local high school students. The Morse Hospital has this wonderful potential life-saving program called the Rhythm of Our Youth. They travel to local high schools and perform EKGs on students for free in order to help find early detection of heart and cardiac abnormalities in young students. I cannot say enough wonderful things about this program. The afternoon of September 18th, I received a phone call at work from a kind nurse from Morse Hospital. She said that she had performed an EKG on Marissa and it came back abnormal. She repeated the test 3 more times. Each time it came back abnormal. She recommended that I make an appointment with Marissa's doctor for a follow-up. Marissa had an EKG done just a few months prior because of some medication she was on briefly for a concussion. Those results came back normal. I prayed that it was a fluke because she was fine in May. A couple of days later, we visited Marissa's doctor. She didn't seem too concerned based on the office exam she did on Marissa. However, she wanted to be sure because of some family history, so she referred us to a cardiologist at Lurie's. We had to wait slightly over a month to be seen at Lurie's. We met with a fantastic cardiologist who also ordered another EKG to be done. Unfortunately, their EKG also came back abnormal. That same day, the cardiologist suggested that Marissa have an ultrasound of her heart. Structurally, her heart looked good, but her electrical system is saying otherwise. She has prolonged QT intervals, but we don't know why. This is where it takes the heart longer than normal to recharge itself between beats. We headed back to Lurie's just before Thanksgiving for Marissa to have a stress test done. The stress test also showed abnormalities. Her cardiologist said that she was going to refer her to a genetic counselor and their team of electrophysiologists. We met with the genetic counselor at the beginning of December. Sometime next week, she will have genetic tests done. The tests will take about a month to come back with results. We met with the electrophysiologist last week. Marissa had another EKG and the exam. Her cardiologist, genetic counselor, and electrophysiology team are all working together to figure out what the best course of treatment will be for Marissa once her genetic tests come back. Parents of high schoolers, sign your kids up for the Rhythm of the Youth in the fall or whenever they have it. Early detection is so important and could very possibly save your child's life. Marissa's story could have had a much different outcome later on down the road if we weren't made aware that her heart has an abnormality. And remember, a few months prior, her heart seemed fine.
At Morris Hospital, I'm really very proud of the fact that despite being in a rural community, we have a state of the art cath lab. We have interventional cardiologists that are some of the best trained cardiologists I've ever worked with, so they can provide excellent care for all the patients. We have a really wonderful congestive heart failure program, so we have really close follow up with patients who have congestive heart failure. We can see them really quickly. We can offer them state of the art management of their congestive heart failure with the CardioMEMS system. We have cardiac and pulmonary rehab that's really integrated into the community now here at the YMCA. And I am a part of the cardiac and pulmonary rehab programs, which I really enjoy seeing my patients progress through that. What we offer in addition to all of that state-of-the-art technology is that personal feel. And so our patients really get to know us as human beings and we get to know them as human beings. And I think that helps promote health in the long run. Here at Morris Hospital, we also are a part of the Rhythm of Our Youth program, which was started by one of the nurses here at the hospital. She took a personal tragedy and turned it into a wonderful program that helps us help the community. And I'm really grateful to be a part of it. I get to go to the high schools in the area. We do EKGs on thousands of students every year. And we always have, 1 or 2% that come back as abnormal. In the last year, we've had several that went on to have further testing and were found to have issues that needed to be taken care of. And it's a fantastic feeling that we're able to prevent these children from having cardiac issues or, God forbid, having sudden cardiac death. That program is really, really important, and it's wonderful to work in a hospital that supports it with so much financial support and robust energy. I mean, it's a great thing. So, as a female cardiologist, taking care of women is, of course, near and dear to my heart. February is Heart Month, so we like to always make sure we're educating women and, of course, men about how important cardiovascular care is. Women have a tendency to ignore their symptoms for a long time. And if you're female and you're having a heart attack, you tend to delay that treatment to the point where by the time you present to the hospital, your risk of dying from your heart attack is much higher than that of a man. And so I think it's very important for us to be educating our community about getting regular checkups and about the importance of listening to your body. And I also think it's really important to get people educated about preventive care. So even if you don't have a cardiac problem or you've never had a cardiac issue, we teach you how to be aware of what things you can do to prolong your good health. So that's very, very important.
I woke up on Friday, August 23rd, to a normal day. I felt fine. I got up, I went to work. I had a really great day with a lot of our members. We tend to celebrate them, and it was a fun day like that. Afterwards, a couple of my colleagues and I had met and celebrated and had just, some fun with that. I came home and had just a chill night with my husband. We had ordered a pizza and we're just going to watch a movie. I went to bed about 9:30 that evening. I woke up about 10:45-ish, and I could feel a little bit of pressure in my chest. The best way for me to describe it was I felt like I slept wrong. It just felt different to me. So I kind of sat up a little bit and was like curious about what it was, and I tried to adjust in the bed, and it wasn't necessarily getting worse, but it wasn't going away. I started to feel a little bit of tingling in my arm, and so I kind of got up to shake it off a little bit, like, oh, I must have slept on my side wrong, and actually almost tried to go back to sleep in a different position. But it wasn't going away, and I finally woke my husband up and I said, "Hey, I think there's something going on with my chest, and I think that we should probably go get it checked out." So he took me to Morris Hospital and we went to the emergency room where they quickly got me back. And during that time, it was really starting to get worse. I could feel the pressure. I could feel pain in my jaw. I could feel a little bit of nausea starting to happen. And everything was very chaotic. Like things were happening very quickly. And at one point, the doctor had come in and looked at me and said, "You're having a heart attack." I immediately got very scared and I looked straight at my husband and I said, "I'm really, really scared right now." And all of the nurses and the doctor that was in the room assured me, "It's okay. We're going to see what's going on. We'll get you taken care of." And as they started to wheel me back, I remember looking at my husband and telling him, "I love you. And please tell the boys I love them." So I went back into the room and they were explaining to me everything that they were going to do and how they were going to look at my heart and see what was actually going on. And when I had woke up, they told me that the entire right side of my heart was 100% blocked. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. But the fact that I was awake and able to tell the fact that I was here, I was immediately feeling just completely blessed. They explained to me what they did. I was very lucky. I walked out with a stent and absolutely no heart damage, which again felt like my guardian angels were absolutely looking over me. And they showed me everything. In ICU, the nurses were fantastic. They checked on me a lot. They reassured me that everything was going to be fine. Of course, I was very sleepy, very out of it for most of the time, but I was able to come home after a few days of being in the ICU, which again, I felt very lucky. After the procedure, the doctor told me, "You saved your own life by coming into this hospital." And I felt incredibly blessed to still be here. But I also owe a great big thank you to the facility and the knowledge, the technology, and the care that the nurses and the doctors provided me. I don't think I would still be here if I didn't go to Morris Hospital. So I'm completely grateful for that. I am convinced and wholeheartedly sure that if I hadn't had the ability to go to Morris Hospital with the technology and the knowledge that they have, I don't know that I would still be here today. We would have had to travel a little bit further from home. Luckily, we're 5 minutes from the hospital. If I were to have to wait another half an hour or 45 minutes, I really don't know that I would still be here. If the worst had happened and I did not make it through the heart attack, I don't know what that would have done to my family, and I don't know the shock that they would have had to deal with or what life for them might look like without their mom or their wife or their aunt or their sister or their friend. It would have been devastating.
If something would have happened to her, I don't know how I would have gone on. I don't obviously I don't know what it's like to bury a child, and I don't ever want to know that. But it would have been really hard. It would have been hard on all of us. You know, we're a close family, and she's close with her brother and sister, her grandparents, her aunts, uncles, cousins. Like, it would have been really, really a devastation to our family. I feel almost guilty then when I hear other stories who has a son or daughter where it went undetected and they didn't make it. And so there's like guilt, and it's scary, and then there's relief at, because it has been detected so early that we can treat it. And, they told us that she will have a cardiologist for the rest of her life now. But at first I was like, oh, I don't want that for her. But at the same time, I'm like, well, you know what? She's here, and they're going to make sure she stays here. So yeah,